for giving us your precious time today to join us for In the Spotlight with Christian School. As we approach our annual fundraiser for IMPACTHK, we want to share your great work with our students, and we hope to inspire a new generation of socially responsible citizens.
欢迎来到新会商会港青基顺学校的 In the Spotlight Show。我们每年的慈善日想要激发报道我们同学们的社会责任感。So Jeff, what's IMPACTHK all about?
Hi, IMPACTHK is a charity working with those experiencing homelessness in Hong Kong. Each and every night we are on the streets showing kindness and care to people in great need. We distribute roughly 500 meals every day, 7 days a week. We've helped nearly 350 people off the streets into shelter, and we have an incredible community with holistic programs that really support the individual, making sure that they have people in their lives that care for them, that they trust, and we give them the best opportunity that we can.
So Jeff, if you were supposed to summarize IMPACTHK with just one word, what would you call it?
If I were to summarize IMPACTHK in one word, I guess you could put it in a hashtag. Kindness matters. It's one word, right? Squish it up. Which really means, at the end of the day, judgment just doesn't really matter. And that's typically what happens with this community. They're judged unfairly by people who don't know them. And at the end of the day, that judgment really serves no purpose. But kindness does. Kindness does matter. And as a charity and as a huge community of caring people, we've proven how kindness does matter and it does work.
So you used to be a teacher in Hong Kong, but why did you leave your job?
Yes, I taught for 13 years full-time here as an English teacher in a public primary school. And I love the job. Yes, the students were amazing. It was a great job and it was really tough. It was a tough decision to jump out of that and be full-time in the charity world. And I'm glad I did, and I'm happy to say I'm still very involved in education. We work with 30 to 40 schools a year, including your school, which have been incredible partnership with yourselves. But we're also very involved in, educating people in Hong Kong, not just in schools. Because at the end of the day, you cannot stop people from falling down in society. People have problems. People become homeless. And, you can't really stop that, but you can definitely educate society about how important it is to care for people. So when we see an individual who's homeless or in pain, our first thought when we see that person is care instead of judgment.
How did you feel when you left your job? Was it scary or nervous? Can you tell us all about it?
So when I eventually did make the jump and left the teaching job and became, the founder and CEO of the charity, that was a tough jump. And I was only able to do that when I was able to get my teaching salary, is what I made as a teacher as a salary, and was able to get that exact amount out and then get paid working with the charities. So the risk-wise, salary-wise, I did not take a pay cut or a pay rise. It was exactly the same, so there was really no risk there. The risk is that working for a government school was very secure for the long run. I could still be doing that job quite easily. Jumping into this charity world with a new charity, you have the risk of it failing. I just felt very, very confident that we could continue the progress that we were making and it'd be okay. And it's true, it's worked out. So I've been full-time now, working in the charity for, 3 years and 2 months. So it's been a good decision, but very hard to get a charity to be financially sustainable, to be able to afford salaries. Now IMPACTHK, we have 50 full-time staff. So it's a pretty amazing organization. 50% of our full-time staff used to experience homelessness. So we're really on that track, but it's looking good and it worked. But not easy, not easy.
So, how long have you been helping the homeless people? Do you have any regrets?
So the first time I ever met the homeless community in Hong Kong, was ever on the streets and found out that this was a problem, was about 7 years ago. And yeah, at that time I never knew that homelessness was a problem. Now, wow, it's an incredible problem here in Hong Kong. And there are so many people outside tonight. Regrets. I have regrets. I believe having regrets is healthy because you're never going to be perfect in life. And, you have to be able to learn and adapt. And that's one thing we've done very well is, we've been on the streets a lot. We've learned, we've listened, and we've adapted our strategies to make sure that we 100% prioritize the care of the individual outside and giving them the best chance that we can. Personal regrets, I think I don't have any major regrets that I wish we didn't do. I think it's all these mistakes along the way, which we definitely have made. I've made some mistakes along the way, but that's been part of the learning process. I don't hide from mistakes, and I think it's healthy to have mistakes, and you learn and you grow stronger from them. And I think that's an advantage when you make mistakes like this, if you're willing to adapt and change course sometimes.
So, since we have helped your charity every single year to donate some money, so where does the money go to, and where does the money help the people that you help for the charity?
Your school has raised a very considerable amount of money for us, and we're very, very grateful for that. When we put a person into shelter, that's $200 a night, right? So $200 a night for that bed. And we have over 100 people in our hostel tonight. People in our hostel, they leave and they move into co-living spaces, so shared apartments or into their own apartment, But when a person's in our hostel, they each have a caseworker who's like a social worker. And that social worker has goals that they set with that individual. So we have short-term goals like drink 5 cups of water today, join a fitness class, write your resume, short-term goals. But long-term goals, find my child, reunite with my family, find a meaningful career. And we focus on goal setting. And that social worker will work like a super friend with that person who's in our hostel. And we focus on those goals. And if they're attacking their goals, then we continue to support them. So really, when we raise donations at the moment, the money will go towards the shelter, or it will go to the salary of the caseworker, the salary of the social worker who really puts so much heart on the line to work with those experiencing homelessness. It's not easy to be a social worker for IMPACTHK, because we really need to put our heart on the table sometimes. We need to push a little bit further to really open up and earn the trust and care of an individual who's in a lot of pain. It's not normal for a person who's homeless, who's sleeping outside, pain from their past, hopelessness for their future. It's not normal for them to come into our center and be all happy and kind. They're in pain and they're angry, and they should be angry. So our social workers have a very tough job. And I just want to reiterate, thank you guys so much for your amazing support. It really does make a difference in the financial support that your school has given. Honestly, has been amazing, and every dollar counts with IMPACTHK. So thank you.
If we can't donate any money, then how can we help the homeless people?
Apart from financial donations, I always say, when I'm asked this question a lot, how can I help? I love that question. And I think it starts with caring. When you see an individual outside, what's your first thought? You don't know that person. You don't know their story. You might have an image of what they look like or a prediction you could make, but the truth is we don't really know. And it all starts with caring. That's how this charity started. It started with caring, and it led to one step, which led to another one and another one, and here we are today. But it always starts with caring. If you visit our website, www.impacthk.org, that's O-R-G, you can find out different ways to volunteer. You can get in touch. There are many ways. And as a charity, we've been, built on the care and talents of so many volunteers and supporters like yourselves. So please do get involved.
What can we do daily to help the people who are in need to make the world a better place?
You know, when I was your age, I never asked the question of what can I do to make the world a better place? I never knew at your age that there was a homeless problem. I never thought about the Down syndrome or autistic community. I never thought about these things, and you are already thinking about that, and that's pretty incredible. You know, what can you do? You know, I think first and foremost, we have to think about caring, you know, and that doesn't mean just caring for the homeless community. That means thinking about your classmates as well, students who are next to you right now. You know, it's normal, unfortunately, when you have a classmate who's acting strange or difficult or in a bad way, right? It's normal for us to kind of look and stare and maybe laugh at that person or judge them. But the truth is that, you know, people act in certain ways for reasons. And, you know, it's difficult, but it's a great skill that we should all strive for, is to, you know, when we see a person acting out, we see a person who's acting different or maybe rudely, we should care. And we should think, how can I use my kindness, right, and my friendship or my warmth or my love to make that person feel better? You know, it's too easy to judge. It's too easy to condemn. And it takes a real special skill to look at an individual who's acting maybe in an offensive or hurtful way and try to help them.
If you would give us one piece of advice for us primary students, what would you recommend us to do to help the street cleaners and the homeless people?
My one piece of advice, you know, and about the homeless community specifically, is you really have to see these individuals not as homeless people, right? They are homeless at the moment. This is an experience, right? They are experiencing homelessness. This does not define them as human beings, right? They are not homeless forever. This is a tough period of their lives, and they will overcome that if they're given the right opportunity, right? We need to understand that the people outside are like us. They're humans. They have arms, legs, personalities, hearts. They have emotions just like you and I, right? And as a charity, when we help them just with the basics of shelter, everyone needs shelter, food support, care, community, when we give them that very basic, that everybody needs, those basic needs, we see people finally having the opportunity that they need to stand up and move towards a healthier and happier path, right? So when you think about individuals who are homeless, please do consider they're just people like us. They're funny, they're sarcastic, they're humorous, they're caring, just like us. These are people. And when we start looking at individuals like that, not as homeless people, but as humans and as neighbors, then we can accomplish great things together.
Is there any questions we've missed or need to think about when we report back to Mr. Moore?
Lastly, I'd just like to thank you so much for all of your questions. I hope I've done an okay job in answering them. If there's anything else I can do, I'll be much more punctual. I just got back from Canada, and I'm really sorry for the delay in this, but I do want to thank you all so much for your care and for your hard work in the fundraising. It has made a massive impact on the least fortunate in our city. So thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you in person someday soon.
Thanks
For joining us in the Spotlight Show. We will promise to make the society a better place.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.